welcome to another episode of Sludge Underground. Daniel, introduce yourself, what it is you do.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel J Dunn. I am an aspiring pop artist from South Africa, and I'm releasing my debut single, I Don't Need You, on the 9th of February, so please stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm here to talk and have fun.
Yeah, so the single's coming out on the 9th of February. I misread that email. And yeah, so
Yeah.
what made you sort of get into doing pop music? What was that sort of shift? I saw that your inspirations were like Melanie Martinez. The other one was literally on the tip of my tongue, and now it's gone.
So I've always been into pop music from the get-go. Like I was brought up listening to like Rihanna, Ariana Grande, and all these really big artists, and I just felt like I fell in love with that type of music. And till this day, I am like number one rooting for all these artists, and I just love it, and I feel like my voice suits the genre like really well.
I could definitely hear the Melanie Martinez vibe in that.
Yes.
I don't. I hope I'm not imagining things, but it was definitely there, like
No,
musically.
it was definitely like inspiration, like wise around that. Yeah.
And like from what I understand, you are currently 17.
Yeah, I am 17. I'm still in school. I'm doing matric this year, so it's like gonna be quite a ride.
No, and I can imagine it's a bit of a wild one, especially trying to do music during school. I've known a couple of guys who have done it,
Yeah.
and that balance can be a little bit difficult to strike. And
Yeah.
when did you start making music? Is it something that you sort of did from beginning? From what I read, that your dad is a musician as well.
Yeah, my dad is like a really good musician. He plays guitar, he's the vocalist. He's been in like a few like small bands like in the previous like for church or whatever. So I definitely get my music side from him. And yeah, I've always been singing from a young age. I've been singing and like ever since then I started joining choirs, and then eventually in 2017 I joined a professional children's choir for South Africa. They called the Tigerbook Children's Choir, and yeah, it just went up from there.
That's interesting. You're not the first person like that I've heard of who's either joined a choir to improve their singing.
The choir definitely shaped my voice from a young age. Like I haven't had any professional vocal coaching done on myself.
And do you play any instruments with your dad being a guitarist?
I'm a pianist. I play piano. I play a little bit of ukulele, and yeah, that's about it.
Are these like sort of elements that you incorporate into your music?
I'm definitely heavily piano. I'm a huge piano fan. Like I listen to a lot of classical music, and yeah, piano is definitely one of my favorite instruments that I like to listen to or play.
Fantastic. Like I wouldn't have expected the classical music from your side. What would some of your favorite classical artists be? Like who would you look at in terms of that?
Definitely. Goodness, I've also gone over all these artists. I know the guy who plays for Elise. That's definitely one of my all time songs to listen to. Like I just get so wowed. Like how in the world can you play that thing? Like goodness gracious.
That piece of music is absolutely amazing, and not necessarily piano based, but canon. Canon indeed is also like one of my favorite pieces of music.
That's also really beautiful. Definitely, one of my goals this year is to get into guitar because it's so easy just to pick up and start jamming because I really want that.
You said you play ukulele though, right?
Yeah, I do play ukulele.
Is what type of ukulele? Is it like the one of the concert ukes, or is it like a standard ukulele where the tuning is a bit different?
It's a normal concert, and yeah, it's really fun. Like I even learned how to play "Thank You Next" by Ariana Grande on it. It
Oh
was
hell yeah!
awesome.
And then you said this is your debut single. Like, are you releasing an EP? Are you releasing an album? Or is just kind of like testing the waters and seeing what kind of direction you want to go in?
I've got quite a few songs in the vault that I've been working on. Like every day I try and write a new song, or I try and at least get some inspiration for a song. So I've got a few in the back, but the goal is to eventually release a little project with a few pieces on.
Was this your first time in studio and recording?
This was my first time in the studio. I was totally nervous because it's my first time working with a producer, working with someone who's recording me. So I was a little rusty at the beginning, but I got into it. I got comfortable, and it was a really gnarly process. I really enjoyed it.
And who was it that recorded you? Was it Mark?
It was Mark. Mark produced the song. He recorded me. He helped me like do the whole process, and I'm like so grateful for him. Like, yeah,
I don't know if you listened to the episode that Mark did with us.
I actually haven't. I need to check that one out.
I think one of my favorite parts, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this was Mark who said this, was having people come in and they're like, no, like, I want to do it for the fame. I want to be famous kind of deal. And he was just like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not in here for the fame. I'm here to make music and have fun and share it with the world.
It's probably a big part of the reason why I even worked with you in the first place. What was it like? Like, walk me through your experience about, first time in the studio, first time with a producer. How did it impact the overall like outcome of your song? Was there a sort of any big changes? Was there sort of a direction that you didn't expect it to go in? How did that work out for you?
Initially, the song was like gonna be just like a normal average like pop trap like beat, and I went in there and we were like, how about we like combine our worlds together and like make it this like gnarly mashup of pop, rock, trap, or like what and that's what we did, and it came out so good. Like the whole process was a breeze. It was so easy working with him. I went in, like recorded a few takes of the verses, a few takes of the choruses, and we put it together, and Mark like obviously did his magic on his computer, and yeah, it came out so good. I'm so happy with it. The combination of piano, guitar, and beats like that hi-hats, oh, it's like literally like an ear orgasm. Like it's so good.
I did quite enjoy listening to the song actually. And yeah, like it's really cool to like hear your views and your takes on it. It's really interesting. Like a good producer can definitely sort of change the outcome of what you were expecting a song to sound like. And what are your plans now? So with you going into matric now and then focusing on releasing a song, do you have like a sort of plan to balance it, or are you kind of winging it? How's that going at this point?
I'm trying to like have a plan, but like I feel like I'm just gonna go with the flow. Like I'm obviously gonna focus on school, but obviously like at least stay in touch with my music. But at least when I release one more song, like maybe by the end of the year, who knows? Yeah, I feel like I might have to like take a mini break in between. But after that, I'm gonna be full force back in the music.
Like, you've spoken about like some of your favorite artists. Do you have any sort of
Yeah.
like local inspirations that you look at? Are there any sort of local artists that you look at and think, these are the guys that I aspire to reach this kind of level?
I love Lo. Have you heard Loiso? Obviously you have. But
Yeah.
Loiso's music, oh my goodness, that man's voice is like next level. Like Loiso, Will Linley, Elaine, Shekinah. These are all artists I like. I've been listening to like even Shekinah, like from a young age. Like these artists are such inspirations and how far they've gotten like in the scene, like as local artists. Like they really make us proud, like our country.
No, absolutely. And also, speaking of which, like I was scrolling through your TikTok and I saw you do a cover of a Tyler song. And she's
Yes.
also someone who is blowing up like for the last couple of months or so.
She's doing so well. Like like really like her music is also next level. I love her music.
She's also a good example of how a controversy can also just spark like a whole bunch of discussion about you and your music. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure you had to have seen that where there were a whole bunch of people from the States debating what colored was.
exactly. They were like, "Oh no, that's an offensive like term," and they don't understand that like in South Africa it's a race, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And she was all over the internet. They were like, I saw some of those videos with those discussions that had something stupid like up to 600 or even 1 million views. And these were people just talking about her. And people would obviously go listen to her music to see what this is even about or go
Yeah.
look her up. That's one of those things where she wasn't even directly involved.
Yeah, no, like she didn't like do anything. She was just existing.
Yeah. What's for your sort of your niche, your type of music that you're doing? Would you say that the Cape Town scene is sort of geared towards that?
I don't have like a specific like like audience. I don't have like a specific like thing that I'm pointing at. I'm more or less just making music like for everybody. Like I feel like the Cape Town scene would like my music. I feel like they could get on with it, but I also don't know. So yeah,
No, absolutely. I think that's kind of what your debut single would be for. The debut single would be for kind of gearing or sort of sussing out your target market and what sort of feedback
Yeah.
and stuff you want to do. Like I'm sure you've got friends and stuff who would listen to your music and give you feedback based on that. Uh,
Yeah, no.
what is it not something you generally share with your friends? Is it something that you keep sort of separate from that?
Um, my friends like are definitely very involved in like I always like send them like a snippet of this, like what do you think of this? Like I ask them like for opinions and like what they think. Like they definitely involved in like my music, and yeah, I love them for that.
No, that's good to hear. Like I remember in the early days of me getting involved in music, none of my friends were really interested in music. So there was
Yeah,
this weird sort of disconnect where I was the only one in the circle of friends who was super into it, and especially into
yeah,
a certain type of music. I had to eventually develop new friend circles kind of around that because it was something I became
yeah.
deeply passionate about. It's really hard when you can't relate it to anyone around you.
Yeah, yeah. My friends are music people. Like they listen to music and whatever. But I'm always the one that's like I'm the singer of like our like circle. So like whenever I'm singing, they're just like rolling their eyes. Okay, Jared,
The
like
flamboyant
stop
one.
showing off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God damn it, man. Please give us a break. Like,
yeah,
so you're still on holiday in the meantime, right?
yeah. No, I start school like next week, and I'm like so nervous. But you know what? I'm not gonna stress. Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy this year. Like, don't like. I like saw people who've like been stressing, and I'm just like, let me be the one that's gonna be calm this time around. You know?
And how did you end up working with Devo? Like, how did you get in touch with him? Is this something through like connections through your dad, or is it someone that suggested him to you? Because Devo is everywhere.
Yeah, no, Devo, like, yeah, Devo's everywhere. But I got in touch with Devo through Mark because he's also like works with Mark. So I'm just saying he referred me to Devo. So I was like, shocked, thank you.
No, absolutely. Devo, you can't go wrong with that. Like, well,
Yeah,
for
no,
someone who's starting out, it's honestly, he's one of the best bets. Like, I've seen that man help so many people
yeah.
get so far.
I don't think I could have done any of this like planning of the release without him. Like this is all like so scary, and he literally like took that weight off of my shoulders. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. As someone who's in a band who doesn't have a Devo figure, it becomes really, really difficult. And like, there's a lot of
Yeah,
guys who are fully capable of it. There's a lot of
yeah,
guys who are fully capable of managing it themselves. They have the skill sets, they have the time,
yeah,
and those type of things. But someone like Devo, with his connections, with his influence, with his just his overall knowledge of the scene and how it works, and just the
yeah.
sheer amount of different circles he's worked with is like unbelievable.
Yeah, no, and he does some like really like he really goes all out when he's like working with someone. I'm like, goodness gracious, you work really hard and like I owe you a lot.
I'm pretty sure Devo has been involved in the music scene about as long, if not longer, than I've been alive. The band's been around. Like I respect his work.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's absolutely a great individual to have.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then, like, what's your sort of takes on social media and moving your music forward with that? There's a lot of some artists have a lot of disdain about social media being the future of spreading your music
Yeah.
out and those type of things. What's your sort of take on it? Your sort of views?
You know, music online and like music in general has like been through like quite a ride. Like from like selling CDs back in the day and like trying to get noticed, and from now online, getting discovered on YouTube and TikTok and all these things. It's definitely really cool, and it's definitely really like efficient way to get noticed by someone, or get yourself out there. But it can be a really like difficult thing if you're not in like the right place. I've just been making covers and stuff on TikTok, and at some point I was making YouTube covers and whatever, and it's gotten some traction. But it's definitely, for some people, it definitely does take a while to push your stuff out there. I really think that social media is like a really good thing, and I feel like it's gonna do really good in the future, and it's definitely our future. It's already our future.
I mean, like looking at your YouTube channel, I mean, you got 186 subs. Like that's not bad. How long have you had the channel itself?
I've had the channel like since 2020. Like I haven't been posting much on there, but I feel like I should.
If you do it consistently, but the fact that you've posted 4 videos and have 186 subs, that's a good sign, man.
There's definitely more videos that I've definitely archived. Like there's definitely more videos from like 3 years ago that I've like hidden because they are so embarrassing. Like I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? Like,
Like, wow, that sounded sick. And go back and you're like, you know what? Actually, I am trash. I should never be allowed to access to
yeah.
the internet ever again.
But if you want to see my trash videos, they're there in a playlist. Like I put them in a bit. I didn't like completely take them off. They're like there under Jared's covers, but yeah, no.
No, absolutely. And
yeah.
no, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me today.
No, no.
In closing, where can people find you? Where can people find your music once it's out? You're obviously going to release it on all the streaming platforms. But in the meantime, where can people follow you? People get in touch with you, check you out via social media. I see that you post a lot on TikTok.
Yeah, it's definitely my main platform.
Just drop your
So yeah,
tags. Shameless plug at this point in time.
you can find me at Daniel J Dunn on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. And yeah, you can find the link to pre-save my song in the link in my bio on Instagram. So definitely check that out.
No, absolutely. Daniel, thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking the time. It's been an
Thank you for
absolute
having
pleasure having a
me.
chat.
It was an honor to be on here.